Hello, everyone. We're going to start. Welcome to GERAD seminar. I'm glad to introduce my collaborator, former student and friend, Mostafa Davtalab. Mostafa did his studies in Iran, but essentially he was mostly with us during his PhD studies. I think it's fair to say that I was de facto supervisor, advisor to him. Mustafa is working in the area of DEA, data envelopment analysis. He received his PhD in 2014, but he's been with us since 2012, the first time for a year, and then, work with another collaborator of mine, Dr. Vahid Partovinia, who is also here for a few months. And then he came back again a few times since 2012. Last time was 2018, and now he's with us at McGill as a visiting assistant professor for the year 22-23. He has contributed to the different areas of DEA, and his record is impressive for somebody who is in a country that doesn't actually allow younger people to grow easily. The talk that he is giving today has appeared in European Journal of Operation Research, considered to be the leading journal, like other work that he has done in different journals. So I'm going to give him, the floor to speak. Go ahead, please, Mostafa.
Hello, everyone. Before I start, let me thank you for the opportunity giving me to present my work before you. I also thank the organizers. This talk is about cross-efficiency evaluation method. Cross-efficiency evaluation method is one of important subject in data envelopment analysis. The content of this talk is from the joint work with my former supervisor, Professor Masoud Askarian from McGill University, which is published in European Journal of Operation Research in 2021. Cross-efficiency evaluation comprises perhaps biggest bunch of my research in recent year. Let me answer 3 questions right off the bat. Why, what, how? Why the cross-efficiency is important? What is the gap in the literature that I'm trying to fill, and how we fill it? So, why the cross-efficiency is important? Let me, before I start talking about the importance of cross-efficiency evaluation, let me introduce briefly data envelopment analysis, or DA. DA is a non-parametric and mathematical approach to evaluate the efficiency of decision-making units, or DMUs. Each DMU usually use several inputs to produce outputs. For example, consider you are a manager. You have 100 bank branches, and each branch uses several inputs like expenses, personal expenses, ID expenses, and the number of staff to produce several outputs like deposit balance or loan balance or something like that. As a manager, you want to know how your branch work and how you can rank the branches based on their performances. So DA help us to answer these questions. DA actually construct the production possibility set with some principles to approximate the production function. As we know, in every production system, we have production function, and the production function is actually the function that for each input, the best expected output is on production function. And when you have production function, you can easily know about the situation of the DMU. If the DMU is on the production function, so this DMU works well. And if it's under the production function, it is an inefficient DMU. So because of complexity of production, you usually don't have an exact formula of production function, and you have to approximate it. So DA help us to approximate the production function by the DA provides the PPS or production possibility set, and the frontier of this set is an approximation of production function, as a banker et al. I think in 1983 proved that the boundary of PPS is a maximum likelihood approximation of a production function. If I gonna give you another interpretation of DA, I can say that DA measures the efficiency, relative efficiency of the DMU under evaluation. So you consider you have a DMU with one input and one output. The efficiency of this DMU can be defined as its output over its input. But if you have several inputs and outputs, the efficiency of this DMU may be defined as the weighted average of its output over the weighted average of its input. But here question is that what is the weight? How we can find the weight of inputs and output to determine the final efficiency of the DMU under evaluation. So the essence of DA, when Charles Cooper and Rudy in 1978 brought it up, is that DA give the best chance to the DMU under evaluation to present itself at its very best. So what do I mean but at its very best? I mean that DA give the best possible chance to the DMU under evaluation in determining the input and output weights in such a way that the efficiency of the DMU under evaluation is maximized. So DA just look at the DMU under evaluation, and DA does not consider the perspective of other DMU in generating the final efficiency. So
question, Mostafa, sorry, I'm not seeing the slide passing. Are you passing the slides? Is it a technical problem from my side? You're keeping title pages still?
Yes,
okay.
I'm in title pages still. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm gonna briefly introduce, talk about the subject of this talk, and after go further. So, excuse me. I'm going to, okay. So DA just evaluate DMU in its own perspective. So DA provides self-evaluation, self-evaluated efficiency for HDMU. Due to self-evaluation nature of DA, DA may determine many DMUs as efficient DMUs, and therefore DA cannot distinguish between efficient DMU, and it limits the discriminative power of DA. To improve discriminative power of DA, Sexton et al. In 1986 proposed cross efficiency evaluation. So he said that who or what allow us that we give the best possible chance to the DMU under evaluation in choosing the optimal weights for inputs and outputs. And we have to look at other, we have to look at the other DMU perspectives to determine the final efficiency of the DMU under evaluation. To do this, he proposed cross efficiency scores by averaging the self-evaluated efficiency of DMU, which is obtained from its own perspective, and the efficiency of the DMU under evaluation with obtained using the best weight of other DMUs. So I'm going to talk about the second question. What is the gap in the literature that I'm trying to fill? So as we know, the DA models usually the optimal weights obtained using DA model usually may not be unique. So as a result, we may have different cross efficiency score sets. So the question here is that which optimal weights should be chosen in determining or in generating the cross efficiency score sets? There has been a surge of articles to rectify non-uniqueness issue of cross efficiency scores. This works try to advise some secondary goal models to confine or shrink the optimal ways to generate hopefully one cross efficiency score set. But I'm gonna talk about the second issue of this the cross efficiency evaluation method, the Pareto-optimality, which is the main concern of this talk. So what is the Pareto-optimality issue? So the ordinary cross efficiency scores, which is obtained using Sexton et al. Or other approaches, may not be Pareto. So that is using another set of optimal weights, you can improve the cross efficiency scores of some DMUs, while the cross efficiency of the rest can be kept. That is, you can find another set of cross efficiency scores which can dominate the cross efficiency scores obtained from Sexton et al. And other existing.
Your micro is off.
Okay. The question is that how we can find an optimal weights profile to generate a Pareto-optimal cross efficiency score. So we first introduce we use a natural notion of natural notion of Pareto-optimality in the cross efficiency setting, and then we proposed a multi-objective model to generate all Pareto cross efficiency scores. And then we propose a single linear model to generate a set of cross efficiency scores. Finally, we show that you can find a common set of weights for all DMUs to generate a set of Pareto cross efficiency scores. In fact, if you evaluate the aggregate DMU is the average of all DMU. If you evaluate the aggregate DMU and obtain the best way for aggregate DMU using this weight, you can generate a set of Pareto cross efficiency scores. Finally, we applied our method to R&D project selection application, and show that our approach can do better resource allocation. So here is the outline of my presentation. At first, I'm gonna talk about DA and introduce DA and the basic model of DA CCR model. And I'm gonna introduce cross efficiency evaluation and its two main issue, non-uniqueness and Pareto-optimality. After that, I propose our approach to rectify the Pareto-optimality issue of cross efficiency scores, and finally I talk about the results, our results, and the situation that and our result about running our approach to R&D project selection, and give you some conclusions. So what is DA? As I said before, DA is a non-parametric mathematical approach to evaluate the efficiency or performance of the decision-making units, or DMUs. Consider you are a manager of 100 branches at bank. Each branch uses several inputs like personal expenses, IT expenses, and other expenses to produce several outputs like loan balance, deposit balance, and security balance, and gross revenue. As a manager, you may be interested to answer these questions: how to rank branches based on their performances, how to shrink or expand the branches, how to allocate bonus, cost, and budget throughout the branches, how to determine targets for inefficient units to improve their performances for the next year. DA can help us to answer these questions due to the advantage of DA. DA has been used in different fields. For example, in healthcare, to comparing to evaluating the efficiency of different hospitals, restore tails, and airlines, education, to comparing or evaluating efficiency of different universities. So here I'm gonna explain about the basic model in DA CCR model using a simple example. Consider we have 4 DMU A, B, C, D with one input and one output. Using DA, we construct PPS or production possibility set as this figure. The shaded area is the PPS. Consider DMU-D or unit D. We want to know, is there any point in the PPS that can produce the same output as DMU-D with less input? if we can find such a DMU, so DMUD is an inefficient DMU. As we can see, point V can produce the same output as DMUD with less input. So DMUD is an inefficient DMU. But if you consider unit B, you cannot find any point in the PPS that can produce the same output as a DMUB or bigger than DMUB with less input than DMUB. So DMUB is not dominated by any DMU in the PPS, and DMUB is efficient DMU. So if I want measure the efficiency of these DMUs, I should measure the distance between these DMUs to the boundary of this set. And Charnes, Cooper, and Rhodes introduced this model to measure the efficiency of each DMU. This model searches a unit in the PPS that can produce the same output as DMUO. DMUO is a DMU under evaluation with less input than DMUO. So if there is a DMU with can produce the same output as DMUO with less input, the optimal solution of this model will be less than 1. And if you cannot dominate the DMUO with any point in the PPS, the optimal solution of this model will be equal 1. So if by substituting the formula of T in the model, we can get this model. This model is is well known as input-oriented envelopment form of CCR model. If we write the dual form of this model, we get this model. This model is this model is a multiplier form of CCR model. I'm gonna give you 2 interpretations of this model, which is very interesting. First, the optimal solution of this model provides a gradient of the hyperplane passing through the projection point of the DMU under evaluation. That is, if I go back to the figure, that is, in this figure, consider the DMUD. We evaluate the DMUD with the multiplier form. The optimal solution of, consider the optimal solution of DMUD, the multiplier form in evaluating DMUD is U star and V star. U star and V star, the vector of U star and V star, in fact, is the gradient of the hyperplane passing through point V. V is the projection point of D. So the optimal solution of model multiplier model gives us the gradient of hyperplane passing through points A and B, this hyperplane. But here in evaluating DMUD, we just have one optimal solution. That is, the multiplier model has a unique optimal solution. But if we consider unit B and we solve a model multiplier model and evaluate unit B, we may get the gradient of the hyperplane passing through point B and C, or the hyperplane, the gradients of hyperplane passing through A and B. Therefore, the multiplier form in evaluating unit B has infinite optimal solution by convex combination of these 2 gradient vectors. Question here is that which optimal solution should be chosen in determining the cross efficiency of DMUs. So another interpretation of this model is that this model is the linear equivalent of this model. This model, in fact, choose the best weights of input and output U and V, respectively, such that the efficiency of the DMU under evaluation, which is here DMU K, is maximized. So this model just look at the DMU under evaluation and provides a self-evaluated efficiency for DMU K. Due to the self-evaluation nature of this model may evaluate many DMUs as efficient, and hence it cannot distinguish between them. So it limits the discriminant power of DA, and to improve the discriminant power of DA, the cross efficiency evaluation method has been proposed by Sexton in 1986. Sexton said that you should consider the effect of other DMUs in the final efficiency of DMU under evaluation. He proposed the cross efficiency of DMU J related to the other DMUs as EKJ star. In fact, EKJ star is the efficiency of DMU J obtained from the best weight of other DMUs. So by averaging EKJ star over K, we can have the final efficiency, which is well known as cross efficiency of cross efficiency score of DMU J. Sexton proposed this matrix as a cross efficiency matrix. The element of this matrix, for example, elements of column 1 indicates the efficiency of DMU 1 with the best weights of other DMUs, and by averaging the elements of column 1, we can get the final efficiency of DMU 1, cross efficiency scores of DMU 1, as it indicated as E bar 1, I think, E bar 1, in the last row of the matrix. So, as I said before, cross efficiency evaluation has two issues: non-uniqueness and Pareto-optimality. In fact, non-uniqueness of optimal weights obtained using the multiplier form causes these issues. To rectify, there has been a surge of articles in the literature to rectify the non-uniqueness problem. For example, as a pioneer work, Doyle and Green in 1994 proposed benevolent and aggressive models to confine or shrink the optimal weights of DMU under evaluate, hopefully to 1. They proposed this model. This model chooses the optimal weights such that not only the efficiency of DMU under evaluations is maximized, but also the efficiency of the average of other DMUs is also maximized. But it is other way around in aggressive model. In aggressive model, they try to minimize the efficiency of the average of other DMUs, while the efficiency of DMU under evaluation is maximized. So I'm not gonna talk about this subject because this subject is not main concern of this talk. I'm going to talk about the Pareto-optimality issue. So here, question is that which optimal weight should be chosen to generate a Pareto-optimal cross efficiency scores? To do this, we allow a reduction in the self-evaluated efficiency of each DMU in order to improve the cross efficiency scores of DMUs. Reduction in the self-evaluated efficiency of DMUs should be naturally be allowed as far as they remain greater than their cross efficiencies generated from the other DMUs. So we reflect this condition as a self-prioritizing condition, as you can see in condition 8, in equation 8. So besides this condition, we should generate a cross efficiency scores which is not dominated by other vector of cross efficiency scores. Based on these statements, we gave the following definition: a vector of cross efficiency score satisfying self-prioritizing principle is called Pareto-optimal if improving the cross efficiency scores of a DMU is possible only by decreasing the cross efficiency scores of at least one other DMUs. The associated weights provided to this vector is called the Pareto-optimal weights profile. So based on this definition, we propose this multi-objective model to generate all Pareto cross efficiency scores. This model has n objectives. Each objective corresponds to the cross efficiency of each DMU. This model tries to maximize the cross efficiency scores of all DMUs, while the optimal weights holds in the condition 8 or self-prioritizing principle. So to solve this model, we use a weighted sum technique to convert this model to, in fact, we convert this model to a single objective model using weighted sum technique. If we use weighted sum technique with the same weights for the objective function, we get model 10, and if we have preference weights from managers, we can impose these weights in the objective function, and we should use equation 11 as an objective function of model 10. So, but solving model 10 is computationally expensive due to because of the first constraint is nonlinear. So to circumvent the nonlinearity of model 10, we prove that we provide this theorem first, and then by using this theorem, we get a simple and linear model to generate a set of cross efficiency scores. In fact, model 10 has an optimal solution in which a common set of weight is chosen for all DMUs. So using model 10, we can consider the same weights U and V for all DMUs and write model 10 as a simple and linear, as a simple model 12 to generate Pareto-optimal cross efficiency scores. So by defining alpha j, the weight as this, we can get this linear, simple and linear model to generate a set of cross efficiency scores. This set, in fact, this model shows that to generate a set of cross efficiency scores, it suffices to maximize the efficiency of aggregate DMU. We have applied our approach to R&D project selection application to illustrate that our approach can do better resource allocation and found more projects. So in this application, we have 37 projects. Each project use one input budgets to produce 5 outputs: indirect economic contribution, direct economic contribution, technical contribution, social contribution, and scientific contribution. So after analyzing this data, we have the results. This table contains the results obtained from our approach with all algorithm and Doyle and Green models, the other existing methods in this area. So the cross efficiency scores of the DMUs and the ranking of DMUs within brackets obtained from Doyle and Green, Wu et al. And our approach are documented in column 2, 3, and 4, respectively. I highlight some of our conclusions. The ranking provided by Doyle and Green's model and Wu et al. Algorithm are more or less aligned. So it means that there is no significant difference between analyzing the result obtained from analyzing this data set using these 2 different approaches. Comparing the ranking based on our method with those of Doyle and Green and Wu et al., we observed that 28 and 26 out of 37 projects have different rankings, respectively. It means that our approach can generate different results compared to these approaches. So method 1, or our approach, generates higher cross efficiency scores for the DMUs in comparison with Wu et al. Algorithms. It means that our approach can generate Pareto-optimal cross efficiency scores. So if we have an available funds, for example, 1,200, and we want to choose some projects by this limited available fund. So consider we have $1,200. We choose the projects by decreasing value of their cross efficiency scores and stop before the total budget is exceeded. Here, Wu et al. Algorithm and Doyle and Green algorithm select the same 19 projects. This set, the total budget for this selection is 1,178.16. And our approach also selects 19 projects. This set, the total budget for this selection is 1,199.20. So this show that this observation indicates that our approach method consumes almost all the available resources and approach avoid wasting the resources. The sum of cross efficiency scores of the projects selected by Wu et al. Is 13.0 3, while the sum of cross-efficiency scores for those selected by the proposed method is 13.32. Therefore, using our approach, while we maintain funding the same number of projects, we can achieve a higher cross-efficiency scores and consume all the resources. So we investigate that projects 12, 13, 20, and 33, which are among the top 10 projects with the lowest budget, are not selected either by with all algorithm or by our approach. And so the question here is that, is there any Pareto-optimal cross-efficiency score sets such that it provides better ranking for these projects? If there is, so we may found more projects. To do this, we consider two weights profile in our weighting in the weighted sum approach when we convert or multi-objective models to the single objective model. We choose we give better weights to these projects. So we consider two weights profiles. In the first one, method 2, we assign 10 times more weights to these projects compared to the other projects, and in method 3, the weights of projects 12 and 20 are 10 times bigger than other projects. We can see that method 2 selects 20 projects, one more projects with a total budget 1,195, this set, and method 3 selects 20 projects with total budget 1,195.40. So method 2 and 3, method 2 and 3 provide more chances to the projects to be selected and uses more resources and avoid wasting resources than with all and Doyle and Green's approaches. Method 2 and 3 achieve the goal of project selection with projects that have higher cross-efficiency scores, and method 2 and 3 in comparison with all algorithm and Doyle and Green's and our first method provide a better resource allocation and can fund more projects. So here is the references. You can refer to this article if you want to have more details, but you are very welcome to contact me if you have any question. I sincerely appreciate your attention today.